Right. Right, there we are. Right. Been a while, folks. Been a while. How's everyone doing? How you doing, Phil? Just doing the usual checks. Audio all good? Music's off at the moment, obviously. Hello. How you doing, buddy? Sweet. Hello, David. David? Just call you DJ. How you doing, bud? Hello, Alex. Welcome. Ooh, lots of familiar faces today. Had a busy day. Car didn't want to turn on. Battery dead. I had that with my bike a few weeks ago when I came back. I went home for a month. Came back. The battery on my bike was flat, and I had to jump start it for like a month. Right. What about everyone else? How's everyone else's day been so far? Gonna just give it everyone 2 or 3 minutes just to get in. Anyone who does want to watch can come in. I only had it sitting for 1 day. Ah, shit. Fair. Fair. Right, well, so waiting for everyone else to come in, I'll catch you up on what I've done off camera. Off camera, I went on printables and just found the nicest handles I could find. Modified them a little bit to fit 2020 because they were 25. They were meant to fit 3030s, but they now fit 2020 extrusions. So those just help move Milo around a little bit better because he's getting heavy. Second thing I've done is I've stuck a modified Z bearing block on here. And this is just a test piece. It won't be released as part of V1.5. It's just in testing at the moment. It's to help with tramming. So you'll see 2 screws. 2 screws over here, and those will kick back on the railed section of the spindle mount, which means that you can compensate for the nod downwards. You wouldn't be able to compensate for kickback, so if the column was leaning back that way instead of forward, but because most of your weight is centered over the table anyway, you shouldn't, unless your extrusions are cut really badly, you shouldn't have kickback, you should only have kick forward. What else have I done? I have also added... Oh, I only printed one of them because I don't feel like you need both of them. Just one of the wheels to help move the table around. I need to replace the Y screw at some stage because it's bent and it's riding up against the Z column itself, just underneath the extrusion. It also means that it's not feeding... It'll feed at an equal rate because the screw will get flattened when it's in there. But I still don't like the idea of it constantly driving up against the Z-axis, the Z column every few rotations, every half rotation or whatever. Finish up with a Doom 350 so I can print parts for the mill. Ooh. You gotta break down what the Doom is for me. I know the Doom is just basically an enclosure within an enclosure. An enclosure for an enclosure. But what else is it does? I know it moves electronics to the top as well, so it's easier to mess around with. But is it that much better than just a single wall plexiglass? Single wall acrylic Voron? You'll have to explain that one a little bit more to me. Plans for today. I'm actually going to remove this table just so we're not marring it up or anything. It was a cool thing to show off last stream, but we are going to remove it now. We are going to finish off with the Z-axis assembly. It shouldn't take too long to do. And then hopefully mount the spindle and all that. And if we get far enough ahead, the table should be doable today as well. Hello, Tom. I'm doing printer-related bits for prints for the mill. Oh, nice. So what are you running currently? Because I know you've been having was it you who was having problems with ABS on the Discord? I've been away for most of this week for various reasons, so I've not been too up to date with what's happening on the Discord. I just see bits and bobs every now and again. Right. What do I need? I've got all the Allen keys I'll probably need. I'll need the Z plate, the spindle. Oh, I also reprinted all the red parts in Sparkle ABS from Printy Please. Love the stuff. Yeah, VCore 400 warping issues. Any update on the Milo specific fixture plate? So, DFH has basically said that the version over here, I'll explain the naming convention over here, is going to be coming out expensive. It'll be cheaper than a normal fixture plate, so we're aiming for less than $100, right? So this version over here is still going to be available for people to get the DXFs for. We'll make a GitHub in a few days or weeks or whenever we get round to it. You'll still be able to make these, send them out to Send Cut Send if you have the ability to do that. If you don't, send it to your closest supplier. What we're going to do is a slimmed down version of this. So instead of having the holes all the way to the end, right, we're going to have them just in the work area. So you'll cut off about that much on each side in terms of holes. The plates will still be the same size. We'll also be doing a thread-only version of this, so only the holes that have that are sized for the threads. And then we'll also have a slim version of that as well. So if you don't need the dowels themselves, you can just use the slim. You can just use the M5 only version. We're getting some prototypes of that from DFH, which I know the guys on the team will be really excited for because I have this one. It works perfectly. And then it means that Dave and Ed can also get some because they're in the UK, and I can just send them after I've tested them. Perfect. Hi, Xscale. How you doing? Easier to run 48-volt steppers. Fair enough. I need to figure out. We need to get a board together. Me and the LDO guys were talking about getting a custom board made. It would be probably based on the Milo Fly board, the Fly CDY that we have. Probably be based on the same processor that has, but instead of having 3 heaters and a bed heater, one of those heaters will be swapped for a 0 to 10 volt PWM converter, and we'll also add a few relays, at least 1 or 2 relays inbuilt into the board so that you don't have to get any extra daughter boards. Hello, Ray. Haven't heard back from my local guy. Okay. Well, keep trying different places, I guess. That's all I can really say. Alright, I need a Z bearing block. I also need some heat inserts. Some kind. That's IPA. There we go. No worries, Xscale. Thanks for coming along, just saying hi. Let's do the M5s first, because they're always a pain to do. I bent the tip that I got from the LDO, my LDO Voron. What a shame. Right, are these the right size? Yes, they are. No, what I'm gonna do, I was gonna remove a big chunk of this stuff. These are printed on an old, unupdated version of the STL, so I don't really have a chamfer there for plastic squeeze out. So I'm just going to add one manually. Anyone been up to anything exciting recently? Anything happen in you guys' lives? Hopefully all good things as well. That really does help. I need to increase these chamfers even more. I made the switch from 2-ply to 3-ply. Okay. Unbelievable. We'll never go back. Overrated. I need more details, man. It's like going from 420p to 4K. Okay. You nearly made me spit my tea, Tom. Never make a man spit his tea. I found a whole stash of screws the other day, all from my V1.4. And a lot of them are still the same sizes, so I'm going to have lots of extra bits for Milo. It's always nice. Registered for my RCI scheme today as well. If you don't know what RCI is, and if you're not a climber, RCI is your rock climbing instructors award. So all your awards in the UK, like if you want to be a proper instructor, not just an in-house trained instructor, you have to go and do your NGBs, National Governing Body Awards. And it's basically just an external qualification, which means that you can take people out to do things. I've been climbing for years. I dropped off it for a while, but trying to get back into it. And a friend of mine convinced me to do my RCI so I can potentially get a better job. Which would be nice. That really helps. Oh, music. Music volume all good? Everyone can still hear me? I always forget music. Sweet. Sweet seems a bit loud for you. Let's see what we can do. Better? Where's my Ugga Dugga gun? Perfect. Oh, I ordered a bunch of stuff from Cutwell here in the UK. You really got to read some of the descriptions because I managed to accidentally order myself some ER16 collets. But I've also got some parallels on the way. They should be here on Friday. So I can actually use the parallels to tram the bed properly. I got a spindle mountable indicator arm. So that should help a lot with that. What else did I get? Oh yeah, I managed to buy myself two ER16 collets and an ER11 collet. Both, all three of them 6mm. But I saw on AliExpress there is an ER11 to ER16 adapter. I probably won't use it for metal stuff, but if I do any woodwork and I just want a larger removal rate, I can use it to 10mm end mills, I think, which is a lot better than the 6mm I'm stuck with, 6 to 7mm that I'm stuck with for ER11. Tell us more about the parallel. Well, they're parallel. Yeah, as much as I can tell you, really. The reason you use parallels is because they tend to be a matching set. So I bought a matching set of parallels. If you need to, you'll stick an indicator in the spindle column, take one measurement off of one side, so you put one, you'll put one parallel here, one parallel there, wherever you can reach them. And that will show you which side the bed is tilting to, and you can do the same if you put the parallels here and here. And then you can adjust your tram to compensate for that. Now, like I said earlier, we've got the trammable nod at the moment, so that motion. I need to figure out a way of tramming it like that. Sizes, they're not the same size you're looking for. I think they're 40mm parallels. Can't quite remember. Don't need you anymore. Do need a screw. And some lead screw nuts. No, not for the vise. I wanted to buy a vise, but it was a bit too expensive for this month of spending. Bit too expensive. Yeah, there we go. In brighter news, all the AliExpress stuff is all my affiliate links are actually helping out. I got $50 this month from them, which does help. The holes for the spindle mounts had enough space to do that. What do you mean? Oh, to tram it like that. Yeah, you could just shift it, tap it with a machinist hammer or something like that. Get what you mean now. Perfect. What size screws do I need? M3x8. What were these ones? These are M3x10. These must be M3x8. Yep, a lot of measuring, tapping it in, and measuring and tapping again because it shifted when tightening. Yep. I think we're coming to the stage where we can mark down a lot of the stuff that we need to improve for V1. It won't be V1.6. I think there'll be so many changes that we can't use the old parts anymore, and therefore it warrants going up to V2. Won't be for a year, but we can start getting a list together now of stuff that we need to change to make everyone's life a little bit easier. That's partly why I'm starting to test this already. The nod compensation. Have you had any luck with the remote? I bought an SKR 1.4. Was able to get out of E-stop, but not yet with the MKS monster. I'm not the dude who was focusing on Remora. That was Dave. You'll have to ask him, I'm afraid. Fizek said something about it working at one stage, but then Fizek never got back to us, so I assume that might be dead in the water for them. Ah, sorry. No worries, dude. I get it. Perfect. Right. Now, we've done this twice already. We'll do it one more time just for people to understand how the process of preloading works. So, screw in nut block, nuts very loose, right? That means they'll both thread into each of the nuts. Now, tap it back and forth, try and pull on it. If you feel that there is some backlash in there, it's very subtle, but you can feel it. Right? If you're just pulling back and forth, tighten up everything by 1/8 of a turn or even smaller until you don't have any of that backlash. Right? Twist it, making sure that it's not binding too much. You don't want it to be ultra loose, but you don't want it to be ultra tight either. Always do it whilst there's some grease on the screw, because otherwise it's not characteristic to how it's actually going to be operating. Right? That's just about as much as you want it. Enough that you can't just spin it by hand easily, but if you spin the block itself, you'll be able to spin it. Right? Then you want to go one by one with some Loctite. So take a single screw out of one side of the nut. Place it on the side. Get your Loctite. Remember, you don't need very much. Stick it in and torque it down to roughly the same spec by hand. And you've only got a couple minutes to check this. Make sure it still spins smooth. And then it's good to go. All right. And then you're just going to repeat that for all the other 3 as well. Try not to drop the screws like I do. Or the Allen keys. It's funny how I can juggle, but I keep dropping all my tools. Anyone ever just wasted a whole day doing something that they probably shouldn't have been doing? Just learning a new skill or something. With absolutely no real life benefit, but you did it anyway, and it brought you some happiness. Because that's what I've been doing all day. I do feel like I need to check my x-axis for backlash. So the updated version of the firmware that I put up in the beta testing has backlash compensation in it. So measure your backlash. If you don't want to do the hardware version of it, measure the backlash and then stick it in RRF. Hello, Brian. What's the word, folks? The word folks means people. Did you not know there was software backlash compensation? Phil. It's not as good as hardware compensation, but better than nothing. Fair enough. If you need to do that anyway, then you might as well check it. Doing it right now, Ray. What have you been doing? What's been happening today? That's been so useless, but so good for you. I knew there was the option. I never used it on RRF though. Fair enough. All right. That's Y in place. I gotta take off the Z motor mount that we put on last time to actually have access to everything. I'll do that now. In tandem, yeah, it should be nice. It's a good thing to have. I always say that. Well, I don't always say this. I think in my head that you should always make sure that your tenths are down mechanically, and your hundredths of a millimeter can be done with backlash compensation at a hobby level, at least. Obviously, you want to go more mechanical if you're using a proper full-size mill. Hey, Tin. No worries, dude. You're not late. We were just talking about things we've done for a whole day that hasn't brought anyone it won't bring anyone any benefit, but it was fun, so you did it anyway. If you want to join in that conversation. For me, I spent the whole day today learning to juggle. Because why not? Oh. Don't be talking ball screws around here, man. Just, you know what? Banned. Just banned. First building project, a band hammer. Right. What do I need to do next? M5 by 16s. M5 by 16. Perfect. Oh yeah, I forgot to say. So we've done some internal naming, so just some testing naming for the plates. So I've decided the one that has both M6 dowels and M5 screw holes is going to be called the Full Monty. Fixated Full Monty. And the smaller versions, the ones with only the M5s, are going to be called the Continental Breakfasts. And both slim versions are going to be Full Monty Slim and Continental Slim. So there's 4 that we're working on at the moment. Whole day only doing one thing. I don't think my brain would accept that request. So I slept on the sofa last night because I'm weird and I sleep in weird places when I'm bored. So slept on the sofa last night, and the Amazon delivery guy woke me up, delivered my juggling balls, and only 2 hours ago, did I stop practicing juggling and actually get ready for the stream. M3.5. Go ahead. I really should think about opening an Etsy shop for Milo stuff for the Euro guys. Yes, you should. I would buy from you. I know you're a highfalutin academic now, that you've put all your handed all your papers in. Doesn't mean you can't open your own little shop. Did you give milling the plates another go? I think I saw something on the Discord about that, talking about chamfers or something like that. Something along those lines. No binding so far. If you're not going to
put the handles on, which I'm not going to do for my build. I do still suggest printing one of the handles out, just because it makes checking for things like binding a lot easier. A, my master's thesis hasn't been graded yet. B, I know, but it's incredibly annoying to start a side hustle in Germany. Yeah, it's incredibly, I think it's annoying everywhere. Let's check for any binding. Stick that back on. That could stay on, not permanently, but for longer now. That feels pretty good. Ran out of time. Yes, did the XY joiners again, or at least I did to the first side so far. Need to do the facing cut and the chamfers on the underside still. I ran out of time yesterday and didn't get to do it today because of work and car troubles. Fair enough. Fair enough. It always does. It does seem like one of those weird. When you're dialing in the process for a part, it takes forever. So if you're only making one-offs, it can be really frustrating. But once you have a process figured out, it's sweet. Why is this not ready? Ah, that makes more sense now. Put the carriage in the wrong position. Come on, screw, come out. Just had to say it, didn't I? Just had to say it. And it's not even the right screw that's come out. Hey Dave, how you doing, bud? There we go. Oh, nice. Fancy a few trips out climbing in the next few weeks. I just registered for my RCI scheme today. So I need to get some mileage out on some easy stuff, some easy lead stuff. Just to get the numbers up to meet the prerequisites for the course. I know you're only over in the peaks. Got until June to do 15 trad leads, 15 sport leads inside, and then 5 outdoor sport leads as well. To be fair, most of the trad leads, well, not most of them, a few of the trad leads I can get, I can just pass off myself because I've already done a few things in my own spare time. I'm just not I'm not a climber who writes down the stuff that I climb a lot of the time. So I'll need to redo a bunch of stuff that I've already done in the past. My wife has an exam coming up, so unfortunately no trips before mid-May for me. That's alright, it's a good thing my RCI is in June. Only joking, dude. Obviously, if you're busy, you're busy. Yeah. I gotta get, what's it called? Q-Log or something like that? It's called Q-Log? Something like that. It's a system that we have. You have probably heard of it before. It's a system that we have in the UK where you can log all the things that you've done in the outdoors and basically prove that you've done them. I think up for a trip around your area in the van after then, though. Sweet. Millennium climbing trip. That's what we need. I need to drill these out a little bit. Hole sizing's not quite correct. Could be a community thing, to be fair. We get anyone in the UK who just wants to come out for a climb / just jaunt in the hills. Millennium community event. Yeah, that actually sounds like fun. I have 2 spear harnesses, so I can put another victim on there. I mean, volunteer. Sorry, I get the 2 confused sometimes. Easy enough mistake to make. Why do I do this to myself? Why do I just bash things without thinking about the consequences? I'm gonna contact you about that tap module that you have as well. What's the red piece that looks like a handle on the x-axis? So there's 1 on the x-axis and 2 on the z-axis. I just went on principles, found some handles. It makes Milo a bit easier to maneuver when I'm building him. Nothing I made myself. Oh man, I'm so bored of bouldering. I'm so bored of it. I mean, every week we have to go bouldering. Well, they don't have to go, but every week everyone goes bouldering. And it's just sitting in a gym for hours. I don't like it anymore. Like, it's fun for a while, but then, it just becomes so boring. Yeah, they're cool handles. I didn't design them. I modified them a little bit so they would fit 2020 extrusions because they were meant for 3030. The 2020 versions that they had up on principles took M4 hardware, and I didn't have any M4 hardware, so... I did a bad thing and spent money today when I shouldn't have. I bought a new rope. I sold most of my climbing gear when I was with my ex-girlfriend because she didn't like me going out climbing. And now I'm slowly building my trad rack back up. And bought a 50-meter rope today, which was way too expensive. Yeah. Standing just the big outdoors, though. Handles are a good idea when they're useful in my V0. Yeah. I was going to buy some hardware for the V0.5. 0.1.5. But looks like because I bought a rope, that's not happening this month. Maybe we'll stream it next month. If you're, Phil, if you're still there, if you're willing to, I will pay you for some Hearts of Iron parts. Next month. Not this month, next month, but I will pay you. So I just want to get that done. Also, if you're in the UK and you want some sparkly ABS, Printy Please does sparkly ABS. They're the only place I know of in the UK that does it. So, Printy Please helped me out a lot when my printer went down, so free plug for his stuff. He also sells things like Sexbolt PCBs. If you're going to do a Long John Silver build at some stage, a Long John tool setter, sorry. And he's just got some other nice stuff on there. Really nice dude. Support him. He doesn't do full kits or anything, but if you're looking for some Voron stuff, go his way. He's helped me out a lot. but I have stock for 3 sets on hand. Sweet. I'm in no rush for it, but it would be a cool thing to have because I've still got to do my whole enclosure build at some stage. So, and I won't be able to use the mill until my enclosure is built. He ships fast to IME. IME? No idea what IME is. Oh, in my experience. Yeah. So when the new heater core from 3D Jake arrived, it was busted, the one that I ordered, and that took a week to get to me. I told DFH who got in contact with Princey Please, and it was at my door within 2 days, in absolutely great condition. I've never had a good experience with 3D Jake. I know everyone raves about it, but I've never had a good experience. Everything I've bought from there has come out damaged. I bought a CHT nozzle from them, and the box was completely crushed by the time it arrived. CHT survived, but the box didn't. And the heat break on the new heater core didn't work. It had been crushed, so you couldn't pass filament through it. Shipped me misbatch versions of sliced copperhead, and they never resolved it. Yeah, I'm not a fan of 3D Jake. And just to let people know, if you're watching the stream or the replay at any stage months down the line or whatever, we're not sponsored by Princey Please. He doesn't make any parts for us yet at the time of this video, of this stream. He's just an all-around nice guy. I think the whole Millenium, all the vendors that we use so far have just been all-around nice people. Really responsive, really understanding, and really willing to help. So shout out to all of you guys, all of the vendors. Also, on Friday as well, so my parallels will be arriving on Friday, and so will my my Fly CDY V3, my new one, and some 5160s as well. So I should, in future, if I wanted to, if I needed to, be able to upgrade to some beefier motors. Even the AliExpress ones seem to be going okay. I've not heard any complaints about motion kits or end mills yet. No, end mills are pretty good. So obviously, when you're part of the affiliate program with AliExpress, you can see what people have bought that aren't necessarily through your links. So long as it's taking you to AliExpress and you buy something else, you can check it out. There is another company I would like to get on board, if possible. I can't remember what they're called right now, but they do thread mills that are the same. They look like the same OEM that Drainic use, so the same exact parts, but they're much cheaper than the thread mills that they have at Drainic. Not that Drainic's bad. They have done some really good stuff, but having another supplier is always a nice thing to have. Put these in all the way. Don't like that. I'm gonna back these out and re-drill the back holes so I've got spacing. Ooh, guess what? What? Tell me. What's up? What's happened? I must know. Got like 4.5 meters of workbench space now. You lucky bastard. Glad to hear it, dude. I think everyone's getting some upgrades in their life. A lot of people have in the last few days. It's been good to see. It was always nice looking at what effect Millenium has had. Not just people getting machines, people making improvements to their garages. There's a whole thing that happened with Skate, and also Tech as well. They're all getting better jobs and things like that. Yeah, 300 quid, all of it's all in, so could have been worse, yeah. See, unfortunately, I have a motorcycle, so I can't exactly... It's really difficult for me just to go to B&Q and get things done, ordered. So things tend to be a lot more expensive for me. I ordered £250 worth of fasteners and hardware today. Why? I mean, I get it's good to have on hand, but... That's what Accu's for. You can order exactly what you need when you need it. And it only comes like next day. No, to be fair, I can't speak. I have a full drawer full of end mills and CNC machine stuff, which has yet to come out of the box, and I've had it for like nearly a year now. Just in preparation. did price it on Accu, same amount was 700, so I went with Ali. Fair enough. I think Accu's a decent value actually for what they are, because it's pretty much next day delivery on all items. Custom amounts. I don't think their prices are too bad. And you know what you're getting is a good fastener and some good hardware. Same with Cutwell as well. I do like Cutwell. Anyone else have a really cold day in the UK the other day? Anyone else had a cold day in the UK the other day? Managed to make that all rhyme. Yeah, it went down to -4 here. Thought we were meant to be in spring. Yeah, exactly. For specific amounts, Accu's great. And for good hardware. And they do end mills and things as well, and measuring tools. If I was doing measuring tools and machine tooling and stuff like that, I would go Cutwell, but still. Yeah, it was weird. It was in the shade yesterday. It was absolute, but you stepped where I was working and it was warm. So you'd be going from like jacket, like 3 layers of jackets to no layers of jackets within 10 minutes of each other. You know what I was thinking about the other day? Drill noise freaked me out. I thought it was my printer dying. Nope, just the drill. Just the Ugga Dugga machine. Do you know what I was thinking that would be cool for us to make? A universal test machine, right? One that's open source and really easy to put together. Obviously, it won't be the creme de la creme, but something like that would be cool to add to the Millenium repertoire, I think. And people would get some really good use out of it, because, I don't know, test equipment's a really expensive thing nowadays, but if you only need it for smaller applications, it shouldn't be too bad. There's some serious shrinkage on these ABS parts. Might need to increase the size of them in Slicer and reprint them off camera. Yeah, Phil's in charge of probing. Hmm. These holes are off by miles. That's a lot of shrinkage that's happened there. Not quite sure. Deal with that right now. I'll have to reprint these parts, but for now, what I'll do is I'll just drill the holes out to M6 and hopefully that gives me enough clearance. Strain gauge type stuff. Cheers, Dave. Thanks for popping by, dude. You know what? I'll reprint these off stream. Let's get the table done, at least today. Because no one wants to see no progress at all, do they? People want to see progress. And I'll need to reprint these because they just shrunk too much. So let's get Milo off the table. Ooh. Let's get the extrusions for the main table, the electronics table. And get some printed parts. Don't need the antenna on there anymore. Perfect. So, because I'm going to be running CASA, I'm not going to have the need for having any wires going into the table itself. So, what I've done is I've just printed 4 of the front faces, right? And I'll just put them back and front instead. Table set. M3 by 12. Sorry, M5 by 12. Currently have macros for determining the long john trigger height, stop probing for top center and top front left ones, as well as it open only. This is true. What they say is true. You can believe them. Precision of it after you got it working correctly, let's say, because there was a section of time where you thought, before you put that delay in, that it wasn't reading what you were expecting, wasn't it? I never said I was smart. I just make up for it with stuff in this.
I'm not saying you're not smart. You're extremely smart, Tin. I'm the one who's not smart. This is why I have other people to do things like this. I do the big metal hunky stuff, and you guys do the clackety keyboard stuff. That's how it works.
It does indeed take a village. I was talking to Vector on stream the other day. And I think he's going to enjoy the Milo build. Exactly. We stand on top of the shoulders of giants. It's just in this case, Phil, the giant seems to be tin. Oh, did anyone see the V1.5 on YouTube the other day? That is something incredible. That's an incredible little piece of engineering for someone to have made basically in their garage. I know it was technically a commercial printer at the time, and they're working on something else instead of what they showed off, which is going to be large format. But fucking hell, it was amazing to see. I don't know how successful it would be, but because we're using a 3D printing firmware, there is already the inbuilt tools for, say, Z compensation. There must be a way to, in firmware, compensate for X and Y misalignment. And if we can crack that, it could really help people out with builds. I think so, at least. So it just means that you don't have to square your frame up as much. Or it can be an automatic process. Something I think we should look into. Add it to the list of cool things that could be possibly done. I know what you mean, but the problem is that 3D printer and the nozzle is mostly a 1D point tool versus a 350mm cutter being very much a 2D tool. True. But you could technically reduce that 2D tool down to a single point on its radius, or on the radius of a probe, for example. Because they do in proper CNC, they do something called, is it height mapping? Yeah. This old Tony has a video on it. He uses probe to offset his Z plane, basically. So there's no change to any G code. I just don't understand why that couldn't be applied also to the other two axes. So basically you can put flat G code on a probed surface or wavy probed surface, and it will act as if that probe surface is flat, if that makes any sense. It will just tell the machine, so there'll be no change to the actual G code itself. XY skew compensation should be easily doable with a touch probe and a known along the x-axis surface. So that's the thing. We could use something as simple as a 1, 2, 3 block, because 1, 2, 3 blocks, cheap, always the same size. They tend to be very accurate, even the cheap ones, because they're made in such a high quantity. So something like that, I think, would be really doable for skew compensation. Where did I put the other two extrusions? Now. For XY table, the extrusion should be fine. I'm not going to trust you on that one because I did a preliminary probing, indicating of the full Monty. Full Monty is flat and perfect, but I also wanted to see what the difference on the extrusion was, and the extrusion can have a difference of up to a couple of tenths of a millimeter, which is just not acceptable in my eyes to probe off of. I don't think you can use it as a standard. I don't think it should be used, at least. Yeah, happy tap tap. Then just use the Monty. True, but then you're basing the fact on the fact that everyone has the Monty. Whilst I do advocate that everyone does get the Monty, it's also, you're looking at, in the UK at least, it's going to be 90 quid. That's my prediction, at least. Oh, I love this sparkly red stuff. It's so nice. This might just be, very well just be me putting barriers in the way where there should be no barriers, but it's part of my thinking process. I just want everyone to be happy. problem is that XZ and YZ skew with a relatively big cutter does not eliminate the effects of nod. Nope, you are absolutely right there. Any tramming issues that you have still need to be figured out mechanically. Unless you're adding an A, B, and C axes, where you could probe off of that and do some skew compensation that way, some tram compensation, but that's not yet in Milo. I've just realized though, thinking about it, there's the possibility, so obviously we're limiting the actual usability of Milo to 3 axes because that's the easiest for people to get cam working with, yeah? But there's nothing that says we can't add an A, B, and C axis and run macros off of them to do tramming for us and then just use the 3 axis features. That's something worth thinking about, I guess. One could also machine a larger piece of MDF, making a single cut square with X-axis and then indicate off that. Yeah, true. That's true. I wouldn't say MDF because MDF would bulge and warp over time if you're in a wet environment or humid environment. Hey, Coyle. How you doing, bud? Thanks for joining. How is work? I have good ideas sometimes. It's just that not all of them are feasible to do in a reasonable time frame. Free flow in the chaos. Fair. I get that. I mean, that cut would only be needed for that one-time skew comp. So, but sure, HTTP, POM, or ALU would be better. Yeah, agreed. Although, no, yeah, you're right. You're right. That makes sense. So what I was saying earlier would have made wouldn't have worked because if we use the 1, 2, 3 block, it wouldn't have worked because we would have to tram. We'd have to make sure that the 1, 2, 3 block was at the same skew as the bed, and we wouldn't be able to check the bed skew without probing something. So if you probed a cut, that would make more sense, as you said. Yeah, that makes more sense to me now. I do have bad ideas too. I have a lot of those. Could indicate it in with a spindle mounted indicator and moving table around.
Yep.
Yeah, cutting something would just be a lot easier, wouldn't it? There's a lot we can do with macros, a lot of powerful things we can do with macros to help with setup. Right. At least there's one thing that went smoothly today. Right. That doesn't look too bad. Right. M5 by 8. M3. I was actually considering to get rid of my electronics table now that it's empty on the Milo and replace it with a slab of granite from a sink cut out from a kitchen supply. I was just planning on filling it with something like that or some epoxy granite. Just filling the whole base, like putting some boxes in there and filling that whole thing up. I still want to have the electronics table just because it means I can attach things to it. So if I want to attach a GoPro in a stationary position, it's still there. Obviously, your machine, you can do what you want with yours. I just don't think I'll be getting rid of mine anytime soon. I think it's more useful as extrusion, is more what I'm trying to get at. Yeah, the mess isn't great, but hey ho. The benefit, it's mess for like only a small amount of time, but benefit forever, so, I guess. That's how I justify it to myself, at least. I really do need a bigger bench. Perfect. Right. Milo has a table now. I need to move this drill press. It doesn't need to be here all the time. So I'm going to move that at some stage. Right. That's a good weight. Right. I suppose that is close to at least, what Milo will be weight-wise. Which is a good thing to feel. Because I need to take this thing to Smurf and set it all up at some stage. Oh. Right. Well, I think that's going to be us for tonight, guys. Because obviously I need to get some stuff reprinted. Because shrinkage is an issue. I also need to do some bits and bobs that just aren't something you want to see on stream. Right, so I think that's going to be us done for the night. Right. So hope you guys have a solid evening. Hope you guys have a nice day tomorrow as well. Next stream will probably be within the week. Although I am fairly busy this week, so who knows? Right. But cheers. Thanks for coming.